What's up, guys? Today I'm going to talk about something I call the qualifier, okay? And the qualifier is this. The qualifier is when a woman sets standards for the men that she is going to date. But here's the thing about the qualifier is many times I notice that women with children would become more picky for the stepdad than they would for their children's father, the child that they currently have. So I started to notice this, and I said, this doesn't really make any sense to me. So I'd hear girls say things like, oh, I can't have just any guy. You know, I have a kid, I have to think about my kid. I need a special guy, a successful guy, an example for my kid. And I was thinking to myself, when I would hear them say this, I was like, well, wait a second. Why weren't you thinking about this, you know, before you had a kid? So now a lot of guys even buy into this. They're like, you know, you've got the Captain Save-A-Hoes out there that are, oh yeah, you know, I'm this and I'm the real man and all this other stuff, and they're buying into this, and I'm sitting here like, well, this doesn't really make any sense to me at all. And I'm going to explain to you why. The reason it don't make any sense is because if you have a brand new car and you have a used car, okay, you would not buy or pay more for my used car than you would for my new car. That doesn't make any sense at all. So if I say, well, now that my car has miles on it and it's used and it was crashed and has a salvage title now on it. Now it has a salvage title, not just used, it has a salvage title. Okay? So, I mean, it was wrecked and then it was, you know, put back together. You know, kind of like the childbearing process, you know? So, you know, it was ripped apart and it was sewn back together. Okay? Now, pretty much every guy out there, if I was selling you a salvage title vehicle, would be like, whoa, buddy. You're not going to sell that car to me for the same or more money than I could buy it new. And I wouldn't insult you, okay? I would not insult your intelligence by telling you, yeah, you're going to pay more for my salvage title car when you can go to the dealership and get a brand new one for less, okay? Because, I mean, any dude that I came to with that reasoning would just give me the bird and be like, you know what, get the hell out of here. You know, you're a clown. But as men, okay, we take the used women and we pay more than, you know, for one with baggage than one with no baggage. And that makes no sense to me. So now I'm not necessarily, okay, against, well, I personally I am, okay? But, I mean, if you're a man, you want to date a woman with kids, okay? That's your prerogative. But here's my point, okay? She should not be dictating to you how you now need to qualify, you know, to date her, okay? That's not the way it works, okay? You have baggage, all right? So now, if I as a man with no children, okay, I'm going to accept you with your baggage, then you need to offer me something extra special that I am not going to get out of a regular woman. Okay, so a woman with no children and so forth, that's at her, you know, highest value, right? So you're gonna have to show me that you're going up and above. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you should be worshiping the ground that I walk on if I take you with your kids, okay? Because I'm the one that's going to change your life. You are not going to change my life. You might change my life, but for the worse, not for the better. But I'm the one that am adding value and improvement to your life, not you to mine, okay? So keep that in mind. So this is why the reasoning where I see this women out there and they're talking about, well, now that I have kids, you know, and I've matured and I can't just have any man. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What do you mean? I'm all like, your standards for men have now gone up, but your children's father is some low-life deadbeat drug dealer, in and out of jail, doesn't work, you know, calls his kid once a year maybe, you know, freaking loser deadbeat. And, you know, he was good enough to have you when you had no kids and you had the most to offer. But now that you hit the wall and you got a salvage title, you know, the car smashed into the wall, it's been smashed up, okay, you understand? We took it to the body shop, aka the hospital, we fixed it up, you know, we put the Bondo and all this other stuff, the makeup, you know, whatever you want to call it, everything, we fixed it back up. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad now, you know. If you look closely, you're going to notice that it was crashed before, but, you know, from a distance, you know, it looks like the car that it was. Okay, so now that you've crashed, you hit the wall, now all of a sudden, oh well, I have really high standards. And the thing is in a way, they are right, because us as men are so stupid that we are actually buying into this. There is the men, we are sitting here and we are like buying into this crap that they are selling us, and they have no respect for us at all, at all. And the funny thing is other than, you know, I'm from, you know, California, and when I talk to foreigners, right, when I talk to Middle Easterners, when I talk, you know, to Asians, you know, when I talk to, you know, Indian people, I talk to other cultures, right, other than American. I mean, they have common sense, you know, which is the name of my channel, Common Sense. I mean, they're like, well, no, I don't want a girl with a kid. Why would I want that? I went to college. I made good money. Why? That's a punishment. That's not a reward. That's a punishment. And I'm like, exactly. Exactly. And if you were going to make the exception to take on all that baggage, then, I mean, it would take an incredible woman to convince me, which I have not met one to this point, but it better be an incredible woman. But the problem is now, is that they have actually flipped the script to where now you're still thinking as a man, you're like, oh, I gotta be good enough to be with her. Let me tell you something. If she's got kids, she has baggage, she's not good enough for you, okay? And men with no kids, you know, we are a big commodity, you know, for these women. So many times I've had 2 women that I dated with kids. Obviously not seriously on, you know, my end, but 2 women with kids. And they flat out said, hey, you know what? I know I have kids, but I don't want a man with kids. And you know what? I understood exactly what they were saying. But they're just so brazen now. It's just so, they just so don't give a crap that they've gone past the whole like, oh, would you look past my kids and I'm a great person? Now they're like, oh, this doesn't even take away from me. You still lucky to be with me. And that's like, wait a second. That's ridiculous, you know? So they know themselves, even when the woman has kids, okay? Let me explain something to you. When she has kids, she still doesn't want to deal with a man who has kids, okay? And one thing you have to remember with this BS lines of like, oh, well, everybody deserves a second chance. For every woman out there who has kids, all right, there is a man with kids. You see my point? So if she has kids, she had kids with a man, right? Because I don't care what gender difference is or gender you believe in, right? A biological male and a biological female are the only 2 human beings that can produce a child. So there is a biological male out there, right, for a biological female with children, okay? Which means when she's in the dating pool and she's quote unquote single, and I do not believe that if you have children, you are single, okay? Because you are a package deal, all right? So here's the thing. If you are out there, then there are plenty of men with kids for you to date who will understand your plight and your challenges more than anybody. But guess what? These women, they don't want a man with kids. That's the funny thing. This is what you guys are not seeing. They don't want a man with kids. She has 2 kids. She still wants a fresh start. She wants 2 chances, but you get 0. I'm sorry, but I ain't buying that. You know, I don't have kids. I don't want a woman with kids. The girl I'm currently with, she don't have kids. All right? And I don't have kids. And I'm not interested in being with anybody who has kids. You know? And I'll take a woman, okay, who is lower in looks with no kids over one who's higher in looks with kids. And that, as men, we have to realize that sometimes we can be shallow and we can say, yeah, well, you know what? I don't care. She's a bitch. She has 2 kids. But man, she's hot. Well, you know what? You got to stop thinking like that. You got to start evaluating a woman based on what she actually has to offer. All right? The life decisions that she's made. And I'm judging women based on who they are and not how they look. I mean, of course, the physical attraction is first. I see I'm attracted. But once I'm attracted, I approach. After I approach, I attempt to get to know her. Okay, what are you all about? What are you doing with your life? You know, what have you done with your life? What life experiences, you know? Do you have kids, don't have kids, whatever? These are questions. I get in these really, really fast. I mean, I usually get, before I even get to the date, okay, if I get the number, I'm already asking all these questions. I don't need to go on a date to get this information. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we can just kind of talk about this over the phone. Okay? And if I already know, okay, you have children, you have this, you have that, so forth, you got a crappy job, you live with your mom, you have 2 kids, you know, you got pregnant at 16, you know, you're 21, 22, you know, divorced with 2 kids and so forth. And I already know where I'm categorizing you, you know what I mean? And it's not for anything in the future, you know, it's no future with you, you know what I mean? It's just going to be like, okay, we can be friends if you give it up easily, you know, great, you know, I don't hate you, I don't, you know, dislike you, I can't see a future with you, you know, because I have too much respect for myself to put myself through all of that when I really feel that I deserve more. And us as men, we have to start evaluating this. So too many guys settling for women, you know, that just because, well, you know, she's got a nice booty or she's got this. And then it's getting so bad that even ugly girls with kids now are acting like they are doing you a favor by being with them. And you have to start to show them that, you know what? Just because you open up your legs, that's not everything, all right? We're not just gonna be like, well, she opened up her legs for me, so I just start spitting out cash like an ATM dispenser, start paying her bills, buying her a car, all this other stuff. No, you cannot do that. You're screwing yourself over, and you're screwing all of men over because you're selling us short, all right? So you gotta start telling them, hey, you know what do you have to offer as a person? What do you bring to the table? You know, I will judge you for your past, and you should judge me for my past. You know, I mean, if I have a criminal record and I spend most of my life partying and selling drugs, you should judge me for that. Yes, as a woman, you should judge me as a man. You should say, you know what? You've been in and out of jail. You probably can't get a job. You sell drugs, you know, you used to sell drugs. Yeah, you're trying to turn your life around now, but you know what? Who gives a crap at this point? You know what I mean? You know, you're in your late 30s, you know, convicted felon, crappy job, nothing. I don't care what you say you're going to do in the future. You know what? I'm looking at your past. It's a pretty good predictor of what your future will be, and I'm walking away from that. Because that's what I'm going to do to you as a woman. I'm going to look past, you know, your great rack, or, you know, or your fine, you know, rear end. I'm going to look past all that, and I'm going to ask myself, what do you as a person? And I like all that. I love a great rack, and I love a nice round booty. You know, we all do as men. We love the curves. You know, I love a woman with a beautiful face and so forth. All of these things. I love all of this. But just because, you know, I like those things doesn't mean that those are the only things that matter. That's what we as men have to remember. We have to elevate ourselves to say, hey, you know what? I have value. You know, I have a job, I have a house, I have a car, I have these things. And I'm not going to just give them away to any woman who will finally spread her legs to me. No, I'm not going to just, you know, give everything for free. It's like, you're going to have to qualify to get this. And you as a man need to be able to hold out and say, you know what? That's not something that I'm willing to deal with. So I'm going to move on, and I'm going to see if I can find someone who is a better fit, and so forth. So in this video, I'm kind of speaking to the guys without kids, because he's a man who still doesn't have kids, and at 39 years old, you know, going on months away from 40, I'm starting to realize that, you know what, we are a sought after commodity for these women with children. But the thing is they won't admit it. They're still acting like they're playing the part, and they're playing the part so cool that you as a man are not even realizing how much value you have. Instead, you're like, oh, well, I'm lucky. I got one. You know what I mean? And if she's cute, you know, you're parading her around in front of all your friends. Yeah, man, look at my girl. Yo, yeah, man, you got that? You hitting that? Yeah, man. Oh, you're so proud. You know what I mean? Because you're having sex with her. Like it's a big freaking deal. You know, come on, bro. I mean, what the heck? It's, you know, have some confidence in your own self. You know what I mean? Like, you know, stop looking at it like, you know, like, you know, because you got a girl, you know, even no matter how much baggage and BS comes with her, you know, just so you can brag to all your friends. I mean, you know, start, you know, be what a real man is, you know? Say, hey, you know what, I have value. You know, I'm a good person, you know? Start looking at those things and spend more energy, as I always say, investing in yourself. Invest in yourself, not in the chase of women and just as soon as you find a woman, investing all your money and effort into her. Invest in yourself, you know? And if you find a good woman, then, you know, by all means, you know, settle down if that's what you want to do. You know, invest in a future with her, with someone who invests back. You know, I mean, if you're putting in 50 and she's putting in 50, that's a beautiful thing. But if she's got 2 kids, a crappy job, a beat up old, you know, car that barely runs, you're a professional, you make good money, you have your own house and everything, you invest 120%, and then she brings in her -2, you know, her -20, -30, you know, I mean, that's not a formula for success. I mean, that's a formula for destruction, for an unhappy ending. So that's basically what I wanted to say, is when they come to you with this false reasoning about how, you know, you have to qualify to be with them, that she can't take just any man because I have kids, I have to think about my kids. Well, think about your kids, you know? Go to college, get a good job, support them, think about your kids. But why is it that when it comes to dating, you have to think about your kids? What does dating and your kids have to do anything with one or the other? I mean, you know, if you got to think about your kids, go to school, get a job, get a good job, get an education, become a better person, set a better example. But all of a sudden, now that you have kids, you have to find a male who's an example, even though their biological father is anything but an example. You know, he's more of an example of what not to be. So, I mean, this has been going on, and nobody's been calling them out on this. Nobody is calling them out on this and saying, you know what, this is BS. And so that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to bring common sense. I'm calling them out, and not only women, I'm calling out men for buying into this. I'm calling you guys out on common sense. Look, this is common sense, okay? And I'm a well enough traveled person, and I have, you know, interacted with many different cultures, and it's amazing when I talk with foreigners, when I say things that go on, and they're just like, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. When I talk to them, oh yeah. But when I talk with my friends, it's like, oh, well, you want to take a girl with a kid? And I'm like, no, why would I? It's like, well, one kid's all right. Yeah, because you've already given up. You've already given up because we're in America, right? we're in America, so good luck. Or we're in a westernized, you know, society, America, Canada, Australia, most of Europe, okay, excluding Eastern Europe because they have common sense still. But all these, you know, westernized countries, I mean, it's like the men, we've just given up. We're just, hey, oh yeah, you know, if I can even just find a woman who will accept me, you know, that's our attitude. If she'll accept me, no, screw that. If I will accept her, okay, and I do not mind being alone for a while, if need be, to wait for something of value. And that is what we need to start doing, valuing ourselves. So don't let them sell you short. You know, you are somebody, you do have value, and if you do, recognize that and let them know that they are lucky to be with you. Not she's giving you a chance. You know, she's got 2 kids, she lives with her mom, she's a part-time waitress, you're a successful man. No. She's not giving you a chance. You are giving her a chance. In my opinion, you shouldn't even give her a chance. But if you're gonna buy into it, at the very least, you should look at it for what it is. Hey, this is a salvaged vehicle. I mean, I'm not saying I won't buy it, okay? I'll drive it, but I'm not gonna pay full price. So in order for me to be convinced to move on to salvage title versus a clean title vehicle, you know, you're gonna have to sweeten the deal by lowering the price. And that's the way you should look at it, because it's a salvage title vehicle. And remember, you know what I mean? For every salvage title vehicle out there, there's another one. For every woman with a child out there, okay, who's gonna argue to me that like, oh, you don't like kids. I love kids, I just want my own. Oh, you hate women with kids. No. I don't hate women with kids. I just think that you're a woman with kids, there's a man with kids for you. So there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being a woman with kids, okay? Because for every woman with kids, there's a man with kids for you to date. But what I don't like is you're a woman with kids, you have baggage, and now all of a sudden you want to start over fresh. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to start over fresh. But they're not telling you this. They're not explaining these things to you. They're out there dating. She knows what she wants. She doesn't want a guy who has kids whose income is already promised to another woman. You know, she wants a fresh start. She wants 2 fresh starts, but you get 0. So I hope this video helps. I hope it puts a little bit of reasoning, you know, instills a little bit of reasoning and common sense to start looking at things, because these are not difficult concepts, you know. And again, you know, I've heard all the reasoning when I bring this up. Oh, well, you hate kids. And I don't hate kids, you know what I mean? And I don't hate women with kids. Every woman with kids should be dating a man with kids, because it's equal. You're equal. But you are not equal as a woman with kids to a man with no kids. A man with no kids has more value than a woman with kids, okay? A woman with kids is on the same playing field as a man with kids. So, and for every woman with kids, there is a man with kids. So don't tell me that I'm trying to cut you off from dating or blacklist you. All I'm saying is I'm speaking to the men with no kids. You know, understand your value, and if you're gonna make that purchase, then just understand that, hey, if I'm gonna make this purchase, then what else are you doing to make up for, you know, the baggage that you're bringing with you? So, you know, a woman with 2 kids makes 120 grand a year. All right, you know, okay, I'm making 60, you're making 120. You have 2 kids, okay, but I see, you know, you're a professional and you make good money. You know, I'm gonna have to put up with 2 kids, they're not mine, but at the same time, you bring a larger income into this. There's some sort of trade-off. But, I mean, you're a professional, you make 100 grand a year, you have no kids, she's a part-time waitress, she makes welfare, and she lives with her mom, you know, and you know, and she's telling you, you have to qualify to be with her. I mean, come on, you know, common sense. So, I hope this video helps. Have a good day.